Shalom, shalom, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Pulse of Israel here in our eternal and ancestral homeland, the land of Israel, in our beautiful, biblical, eternal, and indivisible capital, Jerusalem, since King David's time. Today, I am speaking with a friend, as well as the brother of a very close friend of mine, Ari Fuld, and I'm speaking with Hillel Fuld. And Hillel was supposed to be traveling right now, if I'm not mistaken, to Australia. But I can say that I have a friend who's been banned from visiting Australia.
A continent.
A whole continent has banned my friend for being a truth teller about Israel, the Jewish people, the evil we are up against. And while Australia, I've been talking about Australia for years, and unfortunately, we just had an incident there with Muslim doctors or nurses actually saying that they would kill Jews and or Israelis, and yet they're banning my friend Hillel from going to Australia. Shalom, Hillel.
How you doing? It's surreal. I mean, literally surreal. Some random dude writing on the internet is banned from Australia. Like I'm not a politician. I'm just a random dude. It's crazy. Totally crazy.
Yeah, well, first of all, you don't need me or the country of Australia to tell you you're no random dude, and there aren't enough voices like yourself or our voices telling the truth out there in a way that really wakes up people. And unfortunately, we live in a post-truth world, as Melanie Phillips, the journalist, likes to say, and they don't want to hear what you have to say. But I'd love to hear the reactions from the people in Australia to everything going on. You're being interviewed by media. I'm sure you're in touch with the organizations that were bringing you out there. What have been the reactions from that direction?
I mean, it's been a consensus that this is utterly insane. The love and support has been overwhelming, but not only from the people on the ground, but also the diplomatic people, the people who are involved in the diplomatic channel. So the first person, of course, I emailed was Mike Huckabee, good friend of the Fuld family and of the Jewish people. So he was the first person I let him know that my visa had been, canceled, basically revoked. And then I sprung into action. I wrote. Saar, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I wrote Erdogan, who's the previous UN ambassador. Just really tried to kind of work all the different channels, and it really did. It escalated all the way up. I mean, all the way up. I mean, now the opposition is like making a whole agenda item out of this. It's just crazy. But the reality is that the bottom line, I haven't heard a peep back from the government. So I don't know exactly what to make of that. I mean, it was weekend and it is a holiday now, so it could be that they'll only see the media storm when they get back to the office on Tuesday, but then it'll be too late.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw your message already on Friday, Erev Shabbat here in Israel, and I know you said everyone keep it under wraps. We're trying to work this out diplomatically, and yet you're supposed to be already on a plane, and it hasn't been.
Actually, I don't know if you noticed that, but I actually deleted that tweet because I was told, let's just work the diplomatic stuff, delete that tweet. So I did. And I never delete tweets almost ever, but they asked me to do that. So I did that. I was supposed to be on the plane tomorrow, just to be precise. Tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, actually, I was supposed to leave. Yeah, I mean, I don't see any scenario in which they can get this reversed by tomorrow.
And the irony is, like, I've heard some of your media presences already. You've been saying that you weren't even going to be there talking about politics or the terror. You're going to be talking about Israel high tech innovation. You want to fill
Right.
us in more on that?
Yeah, yeah. The topic was to inspire the audience there and talk about how Israel's making the world a better place, and how Israeli innovation leads the world, et cetera, et cetera. And it was nothing even remotely inflammatory about it. So the whole thing makes no sense. But I don't know if you caught one thing that not many people reported, but I did get a message back indirectly from the government. So it wasn't directly from the government official. It was someone that government official had told to tell me we might be able to reverse this, but you have to commit to not talking about your brother.
That's insane.
Like literally insane. Like really, you're you're conditioning my entry to the country on the fact that I won't talk about my brother who was murdered in a terrorist attack. Like how low can you go?
Right. And again, here, instead of allowing for truth, and again, our enemies make this a freedom of speech issue as if you have no right to say what you're saying.
That's right.
But the right of, they're trying to protect, right? I saw the official response to you is they're trying to protect Australians from, in a sense, the outbreak or the violence from the anti-Israel
Right.
forces,
I'm
and hence
dangerous to
they
the
want to
public.
stop you.
I'm
What?
dangerous. I'm a danger to the public.
Right. It's
Like face,
the
man.
dangerous public can only be withheld and stopped if you're not allowed into the country.
Right. It's absurd. No, the whole thing's absurd. It really is absurd. There's no logical, rational way to explain this. I don't like pulling the anti-Semitism card, but there are some events that you just cannot explain any other way. And the fact that Australia lets in actual jihadists, like literal terror-supporting jihadists, and they don't let in a dude from Beit Shemesh, Israel, who talks about tech and a little politics on Twitter is laughable. It's
Yeah,
comical.
yeah, there's nothing wrong for you talking politics and calling out the lies from the war. And also, you want to share with us, like, you actually received like a whole multi-page descriptive write-out of your posts. The Australian government was
Crazy.
looking through your social media profile
Totally
in
crazy. Totally
order
crazy.
to legitimize denying your visa and forbidding you from visiting Australia for 3 years. So,
That's
can
right.
you share with us some of those posts that so upset the Australian government?
Sure. I mean, the most obvious one and the first one they quoted was that I denied that there was a massacre last week in the humanitarian zone in Gaza, and there wasn't. Meaning, all of the media that reported that then retracted their statement. There wasn't a massacre last week. So what I reported was, of course, completely accurate. But that's just one example. I mean, many of the things like I talked about what percentage of Muslims worldwide are radicalized, and I in the post, I wrote, and I'm being conservative, and I was being conservative. I wrote 10 to 15%. It's probably a whole lot more than that.
Yeah.
And I talked about the fact that Gazans as a whole are not innocent because we see that they voted for Hamas. We see that they paraded these hostages around, and we see that they invaded Israel and raped and murdered people on October 7th. So the whole, oh, there's Hamas and there's the rest of Gaza that's innocent is just bogus. And so I addressed that. And you know me, I talk facts. So sometimes the facts and the truth are hard to hear.
Yeah, 100%. And even though you wanted us to keep the issue of you being banned from Australia on Friday under wraps, I already went public talking about the Israel summit. I'm sure you heard about that event that was
Yeah.
supposed to be, I think, in Houston, Texas. That again, the jihadists in Houston basically threatened violence, and that was an event that canceled. And here you're talking about Texas. Now you're talking Australia. We know how dangerous it's growing, and not just against the Jews, but also non-Jews, non-Muslims, and Muslims across the Western world and Europe. And you've been one of those voices also out there vocal about the growing danger to Jews around the world. Again, I'm with you. I'm trying to inspire Jews to come home because it's home, but every once in a while, when these things happen, reminding them, like, guys, I'm a religious guy. I understand from Jewish history anti-Semitism comes and goes, and it's basically a reminder for us who we are. And yeah, it's a reminder to come home. So you want to expand upon that for people also right now?
Listen, first of all, just to name one more tweet that they quoted, I I was talking about radical Islam being a global plague that offended them. Like anybody who says radicalism is not a global plague needs to be like institutionalized. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But listen, I mean, on the topic of Aliyah, obviously, I could talk about this for 5 hours straight. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to one thing. Back in the day, Avi, when me and you maybe moved to Israel, whatever amount of years ago, I was 30 years ago. I don't know how long you were, but Israel was a third world country. I mean, we couldn't get tuna fish here. We couldn't get deodorant here. We couldn't get oranges. Like I literally remember making Aliyah and thinking, I miss my Tropicana. Like this is what we dealt with back then. The only reason one would come to Israel 30 years ago was because they're a hardcore Zionist. That was
Yep.
it. Today, I see absolutely no justification to not come here. If you're a Jew and you're outside of Israel, it's no longer accurate to say that you're comfortable there. It's no longer accurate to say that you have to lower your quality of life if you come here. I can't see any single reason other than individuals and have hard circumstances. I get that, but at least make a plan. As Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg says, American Jews are on a business trip, right? When you're on a business trip, you get a nice car, you get a nice hotel, you're living it up, but you're on a business trip. Don't forget that you're going home, right? So I say to my friends in the States, like, if I put a gun to your head, told you to get on a plane or I'll pull the trigger, you would get on a plane. And so just logic dictates that means you don't think that what's happening outside of Israel and America specifically is a gun. So what constitutes a gun if not anti-Semites in Congress, Jews being lit on fire, literally? Like, what has to happen? And it's just when you stick your head in the sand. I grew up asking how the German Jews not leave, but now I have my answer.
Yeah, that's really the craziest thing. We're literally witnessing. And the other thing I like to remind people of, I say, look at the Israeli population today. Over 95% of the Israeli population, Jews from the Middle Eastern countries, they had to run away. Jews from Russia, they finally were able to run away. Jews from Ethiopia, that they had to run away. Yet the Jews who we were blessed, like you and me, our families, blessed to live in the Western democracies where life was so good, We're the minority of the Jews who've returned home. And that's a knocking. I was just talking to my son yesterday. He's doing a project on Ezra and Nehemiah, right? They were the prophets in Babylon who tried to bring the Jews back from the first destruction of the temple, from the exile back to Israel to build the second temple. And it was only the poor who followed them. The rich ones stayed in Babylon. And in a sense, we're witnessing the same thing today. And I want to shake my fellow Jews. You have the opportunity. We have a plane. We have
Why
planes.
why are you going to Bavel? Why don't you just look at Yetzias Mitzrayim? Like
That too.
80%. I mean, God brings the 10 plagues, God, and we're like, yeah, we'll stay. Are you insane? Like, this is what we do in every generation. It's not something new, and it's shocking every time, but not really.
Right. And the bottom line is, like, even you and I can go blue in the face about talking about the growing anti-Semitism, but when I talk to parents and grandparents, I'm like, just get your kids to be excited and love their Jewish story and the Jewish state of Israel. So if and when the day comes and they finally wake up, they're going to be getting on that plane.
That's right. And I like to say, everyone knows the famous story about the man who gets on the roof in the storm, right? And the water's, elevating, and he's like, God will save me. And they send a boat, and he doesn't get on the boat. You know the story, right?
Yeah.
So the way I see it, Mashiach should come today. But if God forbid Mashiach doesn't come today, and my American friends go up to Shemaim after 120 years and say to God, God, I don't understand. I davened for kibbutz galios my entire life. Why didn't you bring me home? You know what God's going to say? I didn't bring you home. I sent you elal.com. I sent you nefesh benefesh. I made Israel a paradise for you. Even that didn't work. So I sent you anti-Semitism. So you shouldn't have any doubts that you're not home over there. You didn't get on the plane. What the heck do you want from me? That's the MS. And furthermore, like who said, I'm obviously not trying to contradict our sages, but we learn that Mashiach comes and then the ingathering of the exiles. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe if we ingather the exiles, Mashiach will come.
Maybe. One way or another, I know this. The majority of the Jewish people are going to be in the Jewish state of Israel within a number of years. I don't know exactly, but we're almost there.
Right.
And the interesting thing is going to be a challenge for our rabbis because there are Torah halachic implications for the day that a majority, 51%, 50.1% of the Jewish people are back living in our ancestral homeland. That's going to be a changer. It's not that far off. And
Right.
it'll be interesting what happens and how our Jewish Orthodox world then deals with that change. But the blessing is we're here and
Right.
you're here, and we can use our voices to continue to inspire everyone with the truth and the inspiring truth. And listen, we all know you take advantage of all this PR. May your voice grow that much more. May more Australians be hearing the truth about Israel via Hillel Fuld than they would have yesterday and around the world. So take this as a blessing. Enjoy the live event, right? It's going to be live now, streaming tomorrow instead of
Yeah. Thursday.
Thursday. So people all over the world, more people will hear what you have to say. And sayonara, Australia. I mean,
That's right.
again, both come from the Bible. Those who bless Israel will be blessed. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. It is so clear. We're seeing it happen in real time. Final
100%.
words, Hillel. What do you say?
Final words is, we celebrate Purim and Hanukkah and Pesach. All of these holidays that we love today were once tragedies. Purim was almost the near genocide of the Jewish people. Hanukkah was a war we were not going to win. Pesach was slavery for 210 years. All of them we celebrate today. And so same will be with Simchas Torah. We will dance again because Am Yisrael Chai is not just an empty phrase. It's a historical reality. And if you don't believe me, open your phone and look how many Babylonian friends you have saved in your contacts.
Mic drop.
There you go. Boom.
Hillel, thank you so much. God bless you. Continue, your whole family, continue spreading the truth. Am Yisrael Chai. Thanks for
Am
coming
Yisrael
on,
Chai.
Hillel.
Thanks. All right. Take care.
Bye. That's all, folks. Another Pulse of Israel episode. And again, yeah, you know me, always talking about the miracles that are taking place in this war, even with the tragedy, even with the trauma of October 7th. So many miracles have taken place. It was supposed to be a much bigger tragedy than it was. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, if not the total destruction of Israel. That's what was planned for October 7th. The fact that only 1,200 were brutally massacred on October 7th is miraculous. The fact that we're winning this war, despite all the obstacles we've been up against, fighting on seven fronts, an international media war, making us out to be the victims and the evil people, an internal deep state that's trying to stop us all along. So many miracles. And yes, we're a people that continues to mourn over the destruction of the temple over 2,000 years ago and the millions of Jews who were massacred by the Romans and all the pogroms that have taken place all those 2,000 years. And yet we continue on a nation of life, a nation of faith, a nation of following and connecting to God in happiness while holding on to the traumas. So yes, October 7th is now a new trauma, but we are living, we are dancing, and we will dance again every single year. Be inspired. Follow Hillel if you're not following him yet for the true reporting about everything going on in Israel, and Am Yisrael Chai. If you are not yet a subscriber to our daily belief-based, inspiring, politically incorrect, truthful videos about Israel, the Jewish people, and the freedom-loving world, what are you waiting for? Go to pulsevisual.com and click to subscribe today. And yes, we are a donor-based operation. We need your donations for support in order to make these videos and get our videos seen and do all the work we do. So every once in a while, whether a large donation or a small donation, just go to pulsevisual.com and click on the donate button. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.